Good evening, everybody. It is Caius again. Finest courier in Tamriel. Spellsword. And currently out of mana. We'll be heading to the Eldon Grove when we get a chance. This will be where we find the next piece of the Staff of Chaos. In fact,
Eldon Grove is in the Valenwood province. The date is Turdus, 24th of Frostfall, in the 3rd era 390. It will take 12 days.
I'll make sure that I don't have any other tasks to perform here. The ruler of Elden Grove has sent me to get a gem, which I've returned with. Alright. Who are you?
You can call me Lyrim Oakbrook. I'm a servant. I run errands in town for my master.
What rumors have you heard?
Have you heard about the After Dark Society? These non-human heathen, they meet every night in front of the Conclave of Faith.
I believe you may be non-human as well if we base where we are. Anyway, we'll move to the Eldon Grove.
The Eldon Grove. The small overgrown entrance to the Eldon Grove stands before you, guarding secrets forgotten for ages. Somewhere within its misty corridors lies the third piece of the Staff of Chaos.
Now we're gonna try something a little different here. I don't have any ability to cast spells, but we'll see how far we can get with my health.
You enter the Eldon Grove, chilled by the mists that lend the perpetual gloom to this melancholy place. You can hear things shuffling through the overgrowth.
And I will see the rest of this later, apparently. Well, there's something rattling around, apparently. Oh, very interesting. I'm really used to a bunch of dungeons rather than sort of an outside area like this, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have quote-unquote outdoor dungeons. Excuse me for just one moment. I forgot to let somebody know that I was recording. So one of my priorities for the next little while is to focus on the Staff of Chaos because there are 8 pieces towards it. Now, I've heard a rumor, and I didn't want to confirm it, but apparently you can only have one artifact of power at a time, which means that for getting the Staff of Magnus, I'll not be able to get any other items until I lose it. And the game text did indicate that you can lose these items. So, one of the the biggest things that I want to focus on collecting if I can are more advanced weapons. Now, I'll only find those inside of towns or inside of dungeons, but I believe the best way to find dungeons to explore is actually by continuing on the main quest. I don't even know if casting a light spell would help with the mist. It would make me very easy to detect by enemies, though. Perfect camouflage. This is a little bit risky because if I run into something particularly nasty, I won't be able to have a get out of jail free card in the form of healing. But I do have a powerful weapon which I can bring out, so I'm still somewhat comfortable with the current state. As we were saying. Alright. I can use an item if I have to, but I won't cast light because I'll probably just wind up resting again. So this is an interesting encounter simply because it is a mix between an outdoor area and a dungeon. Obviously this is intentionally hard to navigate. This is the design of the place. But I'm a little curious why we haven't seen more places which involve looking for items outside. You keep well, items make sense. You keep those safe in locations. But not everything, and not everything that a hero can accomplish is always inside. Technologically, it's easy to go inside, but there are plenty of things that can be done in the wide world. I'm in reasonably good shape so far, so we'll go without the healing for the next little while. It's also a little suspicious that I'm only running into wolves. These aren't particularly challenging, which means I think that there might be something nasty waiting for me deeper inside the Elder Grove. Eldon, not Elder. believe I've spoken about this difference before, but it's interesting to think about how the character of a spellcaster is different. So, I am a spellsword, which means that I'm capable in melee combat. I don't necessarily get the best armor, but I'm one step down from it. And you'll notice that the way that I've engaged with things is to fight to do melee attacks more often than not. One of the reasons for that is you seem to need to rest for about a day once you empty your mana. And this is not always. This is true for earlier games. So Dungeons and Dragons, for instance, if you're a spellcaster, you can only cast spells a couple times a day. Which means sometimes the only things that you can do are limited special events. Which is sometimes interesting, but in other ways puts you on hold for the majority of the experience. This is one of the reasons I like playing a spellsword, because I have things to do without resting a day to do more spellcasting. And obviously later on, spellcasters in the Elder Scrolls are able to do more between combat. What I mean by that is, right now, if I want to cast spells, I do so knowing that after a certain period of time, I'm going to need to rest to be able to do that again. If you consider something a little bit more modern, I will have to choose what I do in a combat scenario. I'll have to choose what spells I want to cast to win. But by the time the next combat comes by, I will usually have enough mana to do something, and I don't need to rest a day to be able to cast spells again. Probably try to do more attacks like this if I could, but it doesn't always turn out. This is a little bit more reliable on inputs. As a reminder, this gives a small penalty to hit. This gives a large penalty to hit. And of course there's a bonus to damage. This is a bonus to hit with a reduction of damage. And that's a standard attack. believe that is exactly why they're here. So there does not seem to be as much of an opportunity to find items on this floor now. There's lots of places I've not explored yet, but seeing as I know where the exit is, when we return I can maybe explore up here. But for the time being, I don't think there's going to be anything worthwhile that I find by being on this upper level. Now we're underground. I hate rats. My nemesis ever since I first was put in the Imperial dungeon. This is a very basic idea, but it's very interesting when you compare to how often you see something like this. Lots of adventures that we look at tend to be ones where you will go to a ruin and look for items. And up until this point, we've always been going into the ruin itself. We've never seen the moments before. I quite like the idea that the upper level was outdoors. And so you get to see me approach to this underground area. I think it does a lot more to build a world, and it makes me more invested in this experience. It is very suspicious that an artifact of power is guarded by such weak creatures. I hate swimming. Oh, this is fun. Oh, I really wish there were more of these. I don't think I can jump it, but let's see how far I can get. Close. I'm still soaked, but this is very nice of the rats to get the door for me, but how? I always want to keep an eye on the katanas because those are potential upgrades for me. Right now it's adamantium katana, now frost resistance, but that's negligible. I could get an adamantium with some other ability. But the katana has the best base properties of all the weapons that I can use. And unless I'd like to switch to a two-handed sword, it's the lightest and does the most damage. Adamantium is the second best material, only after ebony. I've spoiled myself getting so used to traveling in the light that I need to use some of my power to be sure that I'm always able to see. I'm happy to see that all of these doors lead to the same place. One impulse I've been trying to overcome is the tendency to want to investigate every last room. Clearly that can be very time-consuming in places like this. And whenever I encounter 3 doors which go to the same spot like that, it makes me feel very uneasy. One of my motives in town has always been to accumulate as much knowledge as possible. Unfortunately, because we got to the sales for the Mages Guild very early, we already have all available spells, including a few of our own design. So I completed that ambition and then got the Ogma Infinium much earlier than I was expecting. This is encouraging. Hang on. I think this is where I came from, actually. I wish I had that boat. We'll go to the right just briefly so I can see what's in here, but... Oh, okay, nothing. No, I should be going up and to the left. open. Well, one of these is supposed to open. Alright, I see a boat. Oh, that's not a boat, that's a wall. Might have been wiser for me to take that boat and to see all of the, So what I should do now is I should see all the waterways. Let me in. I'm going to use this to explore all of these areas, and then I can make some decisions. That's gonna be a problem. I didn't think about what the consequence might be if I ran into something with a ranged attack. This place is absolutely enormous. Something is attacking me again. Oh my God. If they follow me, this will be a problem. I should be able to remove curse. Here we are. healthy enough to continue, so we will not worry about that last little bit of health. Now, in the worst case scenario, if I have to, I can always use levitate to navigate, but oh, drat. So there doesn't seem to be much advantage to me heading through here. I may consider this door just to see what's available. I would, however, like to get back to one of those areas where there was an enemy on a platform. So there was one here. I don't know what happened to it. He just went to a different...
Solve who I am by the riddle of this sign, and all good and evil within shall be thine. My second is performed by my first, and it is thought a thief by the marks of my whole may be caught. Who am I? Second performed by my first. Footsteps?
A thief by my marks of my whole suggests a trail of some kind. Second performed by my first.
I am not that. Thou may return again and again. Thou hast answered true. The gate shall be raised. Discover all. Discover then if thy luck should be cursed or praised.
Given the damage that I took. Cursed. This was unexpectedly short, but then I did rush towards this.
The third piece of the Staff of Chaos melds onto the other two with a low hum. The throbbing of the ebony rod is faster now, as though hungry to be reunited with its brethren.
Alright, on my way out. On my way out, maybe we'll investigate some of those other rooms. Any place that seems easy to go. And that sounds like somebody, I dislike being in this position. That was not worth the trip. I'll go west slightly later just to see what's in those rooms. I want to see what's there, but not enough to fight that thing. It's very difficult to climb up, just being constantly attacked, especially from a strong enemy, so I try to resist encounters that force me to do that. For instance, I should have saved. Because I've also forgotten where the artifact. Ah, that's right, we need to move back. I quite liked the boat up until I had to encounter these creatures. The big problem is that I am guaranteed a period where I'm absolutely helpless. There was a kite shield here before. Yeah, not as good as it could have been. Oh well. I'll be a little eager to leave early now. Even though this is a surprisingly short location by my standards, I think the risk posed by being on this boat is too great to merit too much exploration. Maybe if I can find a reliable place to get off the boat and walk to the exit. Especially seeing so many of these rooms empty, it's very difficult to justify getting up and out. Alright, but if I get off the boat here, I should be able to examine all these rooms and still make it back. I do enjoy the boat other than the weakness. But it does mean I don't get a chance to investigate the rooms. decision to cast Pass Wall and just go through this is immense. I'll try going the other way around. I'll go up through here, up, and then around like this. In the absence of exploring every single room, just because so many of them seem to be empty, this seems to be a decent way to get me where I need to go, while still opening the possibility of finding whatever treasure might be in here. Well, other than the Staff of Chaos, obviously that is a fairly important piece of treasure. I'm thinking more what I get to keep. I get more from fighting a creature. I hate swimming. Ah, this looks encouraging. And it's already open. So now we're back on track. What I'll be doing, I'll be investigating this area and then turning right, because we should still be able to get directly to the exit. Oh well. Never know what might be in a potion. I understand you can become diseased from the rats. I have been lucky so far in not having that happen. I have been diseased before, but it's never been anything we can't handle. It's always so discouraging when there's nothing in the room. Again, you can do a simple pass wall, but Might as well take a look and see what's in the area. I might look up here, but I think there'll just be water. Even though most of these are not overwhelmingly challenging enemies, it does still help that I get some experience out of it. The worst ones are when you go to a room, there's nothing there, and there's nothing to fight. Because of course then you've just spent a bunch of time and you have nothing to show for it. Well, it sounds like there's something coming from...
This hollow shall be your tomb, for there is no other passage out. Should you answer correctly, you are free. Should you not, prepare to join the lost souls in Eldon Grove. Elvish mithril and Argonian silver crumble I can. But first I improve all created by man. I devour all things.
I think I know what that is.
Bird and beasts, serfs and kings. Though my pace is even, men curse my speed, wishing I were lazier in their hour of need. I can creep and crawl, or rush, even fly. I am all thou hast. Tell me, who am I?
I read more books than just the Ogma Infinium. Tempetus edax rerum.
Time is the answer. Consider Eldon Grove thy garden. Come and go as thy will.
I rather like that, although I think I went to the wrong area. Yes. Ah, I see why it's built this way. That is the only door out. I suppose levitation might allow me to get out as well. That was a very nice touch at the end of this. I am almost wondering if it was so straightforward to get out of because of that last puzzle. I should double check the pronunciation of that thing I said too. Tempus edax rerum. I think I was already in here, but Doesn't hurt to double check. Ha ha! At the very least, I can sell them. So I believe our exit is to the west, and I haven't investigated anything here, so we'll see how far I can go. Not very. I thought something was following me. My garden. I don't know if that's something I should be worried about or not. And they just took all of my power. This is a problem. I might as well rest.
Why do you choose to align against me, when it is obvious that I will destroy you? Even as each piece of the star comes into your possession, it becomes easier to find you. And I have done just that. Face my creatures if you dare! I am through toying with you!
Where are they? I am less eager to face that after that sound. That can't have been the only creature he sent after me. Either way, I'm not going to be able to rest any further, so we'll carry on for a bit. that's supposed to mean. We ran into something similar to that in the previous area as well. It sounds like there's something behind me. I need to get out of here. I wonder if each new piece of the staff it'll be similar to this, where I go and when I sleep it's first I see something from Jagar Tharn, and only after do I see Rhea. I'm also wondering if because I was in the Eldon Grove that I avoided encountering something particularly nasty. I suppose I can go to I'll go somewhere. I'll go to, let's go to the closest town.
The village of Courier Silmore in Valenwood Province. The date is Mornda's 7th of Sun's Dusk in the year 3rd Era 390. Based on the current weather, it will take 3 days to travel there. The total distance is 160 kilometers. We should arrive by Turdis, 10th of Sun's Dusk, 3rd Era 390.
I didn't want to go further south because chances are most places I go will be on the continent.
You've arrived in the village of Courier Silmore in Valenwood Province. The date is Freydis, 11th of Sun's Dusk in the year 3rd Era 390. It took 3 days to reach your goal. You arrive at Valenwood, a village held by Lord Anvin. Although weary from travel, you find that this place seems to beckon for exploration.
And explore we will. I thought it was night. Who are you?
They call me Missandra Blueshade, the mercenary. I got into Courier Silmore a little while ago, looking for some excitement.
Oh, you've found excitement, my friend. What do you know?
There's probably something going on elsewhere in Valenwood, but not here in Courier Silmore.
Well, looks like you haven't found your excitement then. What about work?
Don't know if this will interest you, but it's got income potential. Just east of here is the Laughing Skull. Look for a slightly impatient fellow called Signia, checking out all the tough-looking characters who walk in.
I seem to have misplaced my notebook. Just give me 1 second. I think I moved it to a different table. Where is the Laughing Skull?
It's very near, she says, reaching for your map. Let me show you how close you are.
What about the Mages Guild?
Bit south of here, I'm sure of it.
Thank you. Alright, we'll go to the Laughing Skull first, just because it's so close. What time is it? 8 in the morning.
The townsmen have met in the Laughing Skull to celebrate a good fall harvest. Their exuberance is infectious. Oh great, you say to yourself. I'll probably have this stupid drinking song in my head all day. You're about to go to the bar when a slightly impatient fellow called Signia calls you to a table. Good Dark Elf, if you could use 300 gold pieces, hear me out. There's a certain person in Blackbird who has something of my liege's, a bottle of wine. I loaned this bottle a few weeks ago, and now I've discovered my liege is returning to Cory Silmore early on Lordess 12th of Sun's Dusk. Would you get this bottle of wine for me? You would have my gratitude and 300 gold.
I always say yes to gold.
By the lore of the wood, the good spirits must have delivered you indeed. I'm relying on you, Caius. Do not let me down.
Wrong door. I don't like resting in the morning, so I'll do some work. Excuse me, where is the Blackbird?
It's easy, south of here.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna guess that that's the Mages Guild. And I'll want to mark this down.
Licher's General Tool Store.
I'll be selling my things there in just a minute. Let me in.
You enter the Mages Guild, a world where nature holds little power. Outside, leaves are falling and plants are dying back into the ground, but in here, strange flora lives year-round, competing for space next to the scrolls, potions, and other mystic apparatus that crowds the guild's shelves.
Would probably help if I knew what I needed to identify first. One plate helm. always tempting to put on the belt of personality before doing any commerce, but it's really just not worth the effort. It's not like I don't have a lot of money. Alright, so we should at least be able to pay for all the identification.
The pleasant autumn weather has given Lichter's General Tool Store an air of joviality. You browse through the cases and displays for various supplies.
I'll just take a quick look at the status of my gear as well. So I may want to consider... Wait a minute. Oh no. I have to remember where I put my other sword. I know I'll find it. I'm not making too much of a profit on this because I'm not haggling, but I don't see much reason for doing that at the moment. The adamantine bracelet. Won't be sorry if I sell it to you for 10, eh? My prices have gone up. We'll find the blackbird and then we'll get out of here. Excuse me, madam. Where may I find the blackbird?
If I could see your map, I'll show you just how close you are.
Thank you for your help.
The fiery autumn sun disappears as you enter the Blackbird. The sounds of laughter, clinking glasses, and banging cooking pans meet your ears. There's the bottle of wine that Signia needs. You'd better be on your way back to her now.
Was it the laughing skull? Yes, it was. They're still singing the damn song.
Excellent job. I knew you were the right dark elf for the errand the moment I saw you in here. I wish I could give you more than these 300 gold pieces.
Nothing's stopping you.
Good luck, young adventurer, and know that someone in Corey Silmore is forever grateful to you.
Alright, now I should be able to find my sword in the town. Ah. Elden Root.
City-state of Elden Root, in Valenwood Province. The date is Freydis, 11th of Sun's Dusk, in the year 3rd Era 390. Based on the current weather, it will take you 11 days to travel here. The total distance is 520 kilometers, and you should arrive by Turdus, 22nd of Sun's Dusk, in the year 3rd Era 390. You have arrived in the city-state of Elden Root in Valenwood Province. The date is Middas, 23rd of Sun's Dusk, in the year 3rd Era 390. It took 11 days to reach your goal. As you enter Elden Root, a wood-elven city near the center of Valenwood, the elves here seem friendly, and you are hailed and welcome. You overhear that the city-state's commerce is going well.
I won't be getting much sleep, it seems. Well, now I'm going to have to.
The fiery autumn sun disappears.
It's not out yet.
As you enter the dancing sword, the sounds of laughter, clinking glasses, and banging cooking pans meet your ears.
I need a room, and I need a nurse.
You have done well. I had thought you lost to me. The third piece of the staff is yours. Rumors have been whispered about in the Empire. I think Tharn senses that the pieces come together. You must take care to not be discovered by him. Your death will be most unpleasant. I have divined the location of the fourth piece of the staff. It lies in the Halls of Colossus, a structure built to honor a race of giants, though none have been seen in the land for ages. It is said that the Halls of Colossus sat perched on a cliff overlooking the Great Divide, which is along the southern edge of Tamriel. Perhaps the halls are near that coastline. I only wish I could offer you more. Fare thee well, my friend, and find this place for the sake of our loved ones.
The entire south of the continent, you say? Well, that narrows it down. Thank you. There it is, the unearthed equipment store, directly south.
You enter the unearthed equipment store from the sunny autumn day. Cases of weaponry are featured next to some of the more peaceful supplies and gear.
The last place that I was in, I forgot to check their gear. I have a feeling I'm probably just gonna wind up with this gear for the rest of the game, but it's not a bad loadout. I should take a look, actually. Let's take a look at what my improvements could be. So I think it's just the maybe bracers and the shield. The rest of it's really just extra. So it's either in Elsewhere or the Black Marsh on the southern coast. I mean, obviously the Imperial Province, but there's not much for us to do there except to go to the capital. So this is the closest. Let's take a look in. Well, hang on, before we go any further, we could probably ask around. What do you know of the halls of the Colossus?
Try the local inn. Tales are flying back and forth about something unearthed in the province of Elsewhere. Maybe you should check there.
You and I might think alike, my friend.
The city-state of Dune in Elsewhere province. The date is Middas 23rd of Sun's Dusk in the year 3rd Era 390. Based on the current weather, it will take 11 days to travel there. Total distance, 500 kilometers. You should arrive by Freydis, 4th of Evening Star, in the year 3rd Era 390. You have arrived in the city-state of Dune in Elsewhere province. The date is Freydis, 4th of the Evening Star, in the year 3rd Era 390. It took 11 days to reach your goal. Dune stands forever. Challenge our land if you dare, for we are the best blades of the south, and will show you any who come to our door adventure.
I like adventure, but I'm not sure that's what they're advertising. The Black Dungeon it is.
Rubbing your hands briskly together, you enter the Black Dungeon. The fireplace is so grand in the room. In a short time, you feel almost too warm.
Busy night. What have you heard?
The prophet I see tells me that Hammerfell will be decimated by plague early next year.
I'll stay away from it then. What time is it? 8 in the evening. I suppose I can have a drink.
You finish the bitters, thankful for a safe haven.
Now that I've paid you much less than you want for your Emperor suite, what else have you heard?
They say the plague has been reported in some remote Somerset shore villages. My sources are dubious, so I could not vouch for the truth.
Yet you're certain of the plague in Hammerfell. What do you know of the halls of Colossus? Nothing to say, huh? What do you know of the halls of Colossus?
I check in Corinth. Some strange things have been happening around there.
Why, thank you very much. I don't recall what the Dungeon of Dagboth was for. Possibly the Staff of Magnus.
The city-state of Corinth in Elsewhere Province. The date is Lordis 5th of Evening Star, in the year 3rd Era 390. Based on the current weather, it will take 15 days to travel here. The total distance is 680 kilometers, and you should arrive by Sundus 20th of Evening Star, 3rd Era 390. You have arrived in the city-state of Corinth in Elsewhere Province. The date is Morndus 21st of Evening Star in the year 3rd Era 390. It took 15 days to reach your goal. Corinth, heart of the province of Elsewhere, greets our weary brethren. Find peace and rest within our walls.
I don't need to sleep the whole day away again. I, of course, am tired from a very long journey, but having not personally experienced the journey, I sometimes find I'm spending the majority of the time simply resting with no real reason to. Should probably defend myself just in case. You. The dancing cup it is.
The dancing cup seems to be the last bastion of warmth and light against the arctic darkness outside.
Then I'm here not a moment too soon.
$54 pieces, incredibly cheap for the Emperor's Suite. You've got a bargain, kid. Shake on it.
I may have been able to go to the palace without resting here, but it makes just as much sense to go out in the daylight. Madam, what do you know of the halls of Colossus?
Try the local inn. Tales are flying back and forth that something was unearthed in the province of Elsewhere. Maybe you should check there.
Do you know what province we're in, madam? How about you? Do you know anything of the halls of Colossus?
A couple days ago, some priests rode out here in a hurry. They were chased by a small group from the Mages Guild. If you ask there, the Magi may tell you more.
Well, that's a very interesting story. Thank you very much. One last question. Where may I find the Mages Guild?
It's easy, to the north of here.
Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
You enter the Dim Mages Guild, warmed by a spell that dries the snow from your face and hair almost immediately. Books, charms, scrolls, and other relics, older than human memory, are kept in pristine condition here by some mystic energy. You are Caius. Word of your inquiries concerning the halls of Colossus have spread through the city, and have come to my attention. I am Turamain Upkalthus, lore master of the Mages Guild here in Corinth. Perhaps we can help each other. A few days ago, a band of warrior priests from the temple of Agamanus attacked the guild. They claimed that we had stolen from them a stone tablet that was sacred to their sacrament. In truth, we found the tablet amongst ruins far from here, but their leader, Sir Galandir, must have known the true nature of the tablet. It held the key to deciphering a part of the Elder Scrolls, the part that shows the location of the halls of Colossus. After the attack, my guild was left too weak to retaliate. If you will agree to recover the stone tablet, I will inscribe the location of the temple of Agamanus on your map. If you are successful, I will be able to decipher the location of the halls and tell them to you. However, to do this, I need the stone tablet first. Will you agree to help me? YN.
Yes, I will.
You are brave and fair, and I humbly thank you for your help. You will find the temple of Agamanus near Corinth. May the Lady bless your endeavors, and may you fare well on your journey. Turamain inscribes the location of the temple of Agamanus, Sir Galandir's fortress, on your map.
I have a feeling this will be one that we spend most of the time in dungeons. I don't want potions, I want magic items. There directly.
Temple of Agamanus in Elsewhere Province. The date is Morndas 21st of Evening Star. Based on the current weather, it will take 1 day to travel here. The total distance is 60 kilometers, and you should arrive by Tertus 22nd of Evening Star in the year 3rd Era 390.
I wonder if it's possible to just walk out of the town and run into this, but I'd rather just get a move on. Quite the greeting. I may want to use a lot more magic here.
Found a note on this knight's body. You will hold this fortress until my return. Guard the treasures well, or forfeit your life. Sir Galandir.
I'll probably regret picking up all these items.
nearby sign reads Aga Nu W Co S D Grimace.
I hope that's not a solution to anything.
You were a fool!
I was going to cast Resist Fire. Wait, I forgot to... In fairness, this is not exactly the sort of thing you would expect to find in a... Oh dear. Well, this'll just take a moment. I don't know why, but apparently Steam it brings the Steam friends list whenever DOSBox closes. This is actually a copy of the game. So I've learned my lesson. Save more than I already have been. I don't want to camp. I want to heal. I've learned my lesson. I'll not pick up the plate. And apparently this knight doesn't have a note. This one does. So the reason I'm picking up the katana is on the very odd chance it's a magic or identifiable item. It may be an upgrade. I must be sure to use my resistances more often. Normally when you see a name like fire resistant, you assume that it will do a reduction in damage. This seems to totally negate it. My God. This place is magnificent. Lots of things to take. Straightforward enemies. I'm very much enjoying this temple.
Sign over the stairs reads private, members only.
How do I join? This will be a problem. It is a little absurd that these things damage their own people. I am curious if I get experience for that or not.
Stench of decaying food fills the air.
I'm not gonna search through those. Although that's an interesting implication about those knights. If this place has not been taken care of, are these just long-standing guardians who never left the sentry, but then this place did just conduct a raid on the Mages Guild. The thing about this place is that I found enough gear that I'm willing to search the rooms in hopes of finding more. The other places, when they were a little too stingy, made me not want to look for items. I don't recall if I did heal or resist fire last. Also, I believe the heal does draw from a distribution, so if it looks inconsistent in terms of the healing, that's because it is. I regret opening this door. Normally at this point I'd probably want to use an area of effect spell, but I'm a little short on health. I'll probably need to repair this weapon when I return. designed to take out my mana. I don't quite want to rest yet, but this may have consequences if I encounter something nasty. There are a lot of hellhounds here, which means that I would normally want to resist fire. If I don't resist fire, then I potentially take a lot of damage. But we'll see how it goes. Not well. And now I rest. That didn't take him long. That timed out well. So go through the center and then obviously west. Ah, yes, the famous melee bow. Mind you, encounters with silver archers can sometimes go much worse, so we'll be grateful that that one was straightforward. I remember when you were the hardest thing I needed to face. My, how times have changed. I don't want to sleep, I want to slash. Ah, I see, this was the Hellhound room. Well, I am personally very happy that I'm not facing so many knights. I I really am curious what the justification for this temple of, what seems like difficult paladins, why they share it with so many monsters, hellhounds, spiders, ghouls, skeletons, whatever the ghosts are. They seem to have gotten turned around. It's rare for me to encounter a lock that I can't open. I really should consider the resist fire again. Alright, well, there can't be too much up here, so I'll double back and see what's going on. We had a fairly lucky run of loot. I don't think we'll be getting any more up there, but it doesn't hurt to check. Alright, I'll take a quick minute here and unload anything that's not gonna get a good return. Well, so there is something up here, but it's behind that harder to open lock. I do have a spell for it. I also have pass wall, but in this case we will pursue the bottom left.
Clearly some kind of unpleasant rituals were planned for this chapel.
Ow.
Sign over the stairs reads, "Private members only."
Ow. I keep saying that I would benefit from doing resist fire, and yet I never do. I think this would have been a perfect encounter if there was just one, level to it. If I died to that guy, I would have been very angry. Can't resist it. There's always a chance. This will be painful. Leave me alone.
A small plaque advises, "Bear left, stay right."
bears in this before. I'm tempted to see the bear, but let's see what we've got when it tells me, when I follow the instructions of where to go. This seems to have gotten me nothing. I think that spawned right on top of me. I couldn't see it at all. Something wants me dead. Now again, this is a particularly dangerous spot for me to be in because the resist fire is something that gives me a big advantage against the hellhounds, and I'm out of mana now. It's not clear that I benefit from... I'd like to see what I can find in this area, but jumping seems like a great way to fall in. Alright. I also have lost my light spell, so let's take a quick look in what's in this area. We'll find a corner and then go to sleep. Or not sleep, but rest. I don't remember them being here last time.
A plaque over the door reads, "Detention."
I'll happily be detained with gold. general rule, it is inadvisable to sleep in a room with an Iron Maiden. Something just opened that door. I will rest with the skeleton, though. Well, I was gonna move on from that, but that took quite a bit out of me. Alright, just bear with me one quick second. I need to refill my drink. I am sufficiently paranoid to want to save this much. I suppose I can manage turning on the light as well. Alright, on the chance that I need to open that locked door, I will keep one weapon that I can use as a crowbar, basically. This will be a fairly good return when I cash in. This has not brought me any closer to our goal, though. the spell I like the least is the one that takes out my mana. The main reason is because the cost of that is in time. I'd like to have a conversation with the architect of this base. Wait, I've been in all of this. Alright, well, it looks like we'll get a chance to find out whatever this bear is. At this point, I think I'll only go for items that can be identified. It makes it a little more tedious to go through the Mage's Guild, but on net, I think it will get me more. I'm not exactly in a position where I really want to be getting the additional 60 gold from a plate. That's gross. I know there are potions I can get for replenishing mana, but oh dear. That's one of the scenarios that I don't want to have, or don't want to be without mana for. You can sort of dodge the attacks, but it's much more difficult than just simply absorbing it. There's another level. Alright. We will see the rest of what's available on our way back. I was thinking we may be able to get another piece of the staff, but it is already quite late, so I will complete this, and we will pursue the next piece of the staff. Next week. Well, it's nice that they self-destruct, but
A damp, musty odor fills this area.
something else fills this area too, which maybe would have merited inclusion. And I hate swimming. Looks like it's not giving me a lot of options. I'll take a quick look to see if anything at the end here lets me do an alternative route. It does not. Well, this is definitely how I wanted to spend my time down here. Oh, for heaven's sake, not a chance. Who in their right mind would put insta-kill enemies on the edge of an extended swimming section? Oh my god. This is the worst possible decision they could have made in this design. If you get paralyzed while you're in the water, you automatically drown. But this is good news. Alright, so my three main stats, strength, intelligence, and agility, are now at maximum. There is something to be said for speed and luck. There's something to be said for all of it, to be perfectly honest, but in this case I will upgrade luck, because it's the smallest, and then we'll have to consider as I level up where else I'll put these points. should check to see if I have some kind of turn undead spell, but sometimes the katana can just do the talking. So far as I can tell, the only purpose of this is a skeleton labyrinth. That's what I get for going for the loot instead of checking around. Alright, I was very confused by the fact that it seemed like there was a pathway through that. Alright, so the lesson I've learned is apparently it's not just that you go swimming and potentially encounter an insta-kill enemy if they paralyze you while you're in the water. You have to choose which one you go against. Ah yes, the good old hole room. Maybe a sacrificial pit or something like that. Oh no. I'm very glad that I got my broadsword back. Draw your weapon.
The floor here is oddly patterned.
Not the first thing I noticed. does not sound promising. I was a little surprised to see my weapon be broken, but then it did occur to me that I have actually taken on quite a few enemies here. I may have to just start leaving these on the ground, but while I can, I'll still try and take as many magical items. I think I just picked up the katana I dropped. There might have been an argument for me to raise my endurance, assuming that raises my carrying capacity. But of course, I've already got a I'm fairly wealthy already, so there's less reason for me to carry as many things. It's always fun to start off a room by getting a face full of no mana. Well, down I go. You've already taken it all. Yeah, in this case, I'm just gonna leave it. The main reason for that is I'd like to have at least one item that I can use to break open doors if I get particularly desperate. So I'm a little stumped on it looks like we have to go. It was this water area over here. All right. Figure if I'm gonna fall into the pit, I'll fall at least close to the door. Oh, I forgot this infuriating nonsense. always, you never know what happens when you're in the water. Was I here before? I was. I feel like the tablet should be here, but if it is, I completely missed it on the ground, and normally it does. Okay, I was very concerned for a moment. How am I supposed to get up here? Alright, well, if I want to make progress, I might have to go after these guys. One way or the other, I'm going to need to rest either for mana or for energy to swim. Leave me alone. This is why I hate swimming. Very distinct feeling that I'm going to find out that the item I need to get has been in one of the rooms I've already visited and I just didn't notice it. Would not be the first time that's happened either. Just want to double check for a door. I was wondering if that was just a trap or something. At this point, I'm really going to have to rest. It's been a while since I've seen an orc. Alright, well, let's not stand on ceremony. I'll turn on the light and we'll carry on as best as we can.
Answer this riddle and proceed into this vault. Daily I am in Elsewhere and in Skyrim. At times do all the world explore. Since time began I've held my reign, and shall till time is nevermore. I never in my life have strolled in garden, field, or park. Yet all these are sad and cold if I'm not there and it is dark.
That one's a little... It's like they're getting easier as they go by. And I am not good at riddles.
You have spoken well. Enter.
There's a nice audio cue to remind me that I've got the item. I know, just let me pick it up.
You found the tablet Sir Galandir stole from Turamain at Colthus and the Corinth Mages Guild. When Turamain has it again, he can use it to find the location of the legendary halls of Colossus.
And now we have the fun of trying to get out of here. Alright, so north as soon as I can. It's probably best just to take my chances with the water. Jump over the lava. No, that won't get me there. Yes, it will. Oh god, I've got two. Looks like there's two water. There's a really good argument for using pass wall here. We'll see how it goes, but I'll probably use pass wall as soon as I can. This is not where I should go. see it was telling me that there was a passage there. Alright, so we will now learn one of the many uses of being a spellcaster. Of course, they add insult to injury, so I think we said I wanted to find the bear if I could, if there is indeed a bear here. And as it happens, it's a fairly small floor, so we'll just go out and around like this and see what we can find. Oh, this'll be bad. You saw me go for the spell. Fortunately, I know what I need to cast now. Obviously, it's ideal if I can get through here as quickly as I can with the resist to fire, but I'll only do pickups of their katanas. Alright, so now I need to be very, especially careful. Fortunately, we've more or less explored what there is to see here. Alright, so unless the bear's in here, which I doubt, it's a figure of speech. Oh no. I won't go through all the rooms again because we've already seen what's inside them. I don't think there's a way through here. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about that. Alright, so I think our only option is down, left. I'll take a quick look here, but I don't think there's anything for us to see. I mean, it says bear left, but I don't believe it. In the interests of full exploration, I will reconsider. Let's just double check this. Okay. The black advises bear left, stay right. Yeah, there's nothing to the left. We've been hoodwinked. Oh, nice of them to leave that for me. I think we've already explored this floor pretty thoroughly, so we'll just head straight to the exit. The fastest route, probably down this hall and then up. Assuming the hellhounds don't get me first. I should probably rest. Don't have the option, alright. Let's see how well I can run. Not that well. Still gonna try it. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, so I'm going to have to deal with, whatever's in the area. Oh no, alright. This is a nightmare. At least when I'm close, they don't do the worst. Okay, it's gonna be a longer route, but I think we can get to the exit. The real challenge here is that when I'm rushing, if I check the map, that's potentially an action that an enemy takes against me. But if I don't check the map, I wind up going to areas that don't help. Yeah, I'm out of here.
The city-state of Corinth in Elsewhere Province. The date is Turdas, 24th of Evening Star, 3rd Era 390. Based on the current weather, it will take 1 day to travel here. Total distance, 60 kilometers. You should arrive by Fredas, 25th of Evening Star, 3rd Era 390.
I'm out of here.
You have arrived in the city-state of Corinth in Elsewhere Province. The date is Lourdes, 26th of Evening Star, in the 3rd Era 390. It took 1 day to reach your goal. Corinth, heart of the province of Elsewhere, greets our weary brethren. Find peace and rest within our walls.
Should already know where all the taverns are. I suppose I don't need to worry about that, though. We'll identify some items. Did I not mark where the Mages Guild is? No, that doesn't make any sense. That's where I got the mission from. Southeast it is. Hopefully along the way I find a place to repair my gear as well. Ah, here we are. Just a word of advice for anybody who's watching, especially live. I will complete I'll turn in the quest. The rest I'm just going to do some... Actually, I'll turn in the quest and do the identification. I can do the selling on my own time.
The white dust in the Mages Guild is not as deep as the snow outside, but it is so omnipresent that all the arcane relics within seem to be covered by a thin shroud. It is an almost soundless chamber, with only the occasional sigh from the pot of boiling liquid on the fire. Slowly warmth creeps back into your chilled body. I see you've recovered the stone tablet, Caius. I trust Sir Galandir and his knights did you no permanent harm. Now for my part of the bargain. Wait a moment while I get my notes. Chiramain gets a feather pen and then peers intently at the tablet. A few moments later, he inscribes the location of the halls of Colossus, somewhere in the province of Elsewhere, onto your map.
Essentially everything but the katana. I said everything but the katana and I still can't handle it. Ring of Passwell sounds very nice, actually. We'll see how many charges. I believe that's everything. $47. I mean, I've never used the lightning before. snowy Elsewhere night. Or rather day, 6:30 in the morning. 26th of Evening Star. I believe it's near the end of the year 390. I'm gonna call it for tonight. I'm gonna sell the gear on my own time, and I'll send the katana in for repair. That's the only thing that won't be streamed. Next week we will go for the next piece of the Staff of Chaos, and it may wind up being similar to this one. I know this is a little bit shorter than the previous ones have been, but it's very late where I am, and this is how long I normally stream for, so thank you very much for watching, and if you'd like to hear anything in this voice, feel free to say it in chat or comment in the video